Hey, what's up everyone, welcome back to another Sims 4 video on my channel. In today's video, we're building a modern Japanese inspired family home. So it has been a while since we built here in Mount Komorebi, and today's build is actually a one-pack build, so I only use Snowy Escape and of course base game, so you don't need any additional packs if you want to download this. My ID is in the description below as always. So as you can see, I started building this house on a hill, which I covered later on with lots of plants and some boulders and rocks all around the house to give it a more natural look. And I really tried to blend this house into the surroundings, and a really good way to do this, which I recently learned about, which is basically very straightforward, is to use plants and other objects you see around your builds. But for this build I wanted to use the plants from Snowy Escape anyway. So initially I thought this lot would be too small for this type of house because it's only a 20 by 15 lot, which is quite small, but I think I managed to build a house that feels spacious and actually is quite spacious. And I tried to make up for the lack of garden area here by having several platforms, which are basically patios, because I used some seating accommodations there so your Sims can go outside and use them. I also tried to use some skill building items here, so we have an easel, which you will see later on. We also have an outside fireplace, which looks very nice in my opinion, which you will see towards the end of the video. So this house is intended for a family of 3, so we have 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. I really wanted to have an additional bathroom on the 2nd floor, or at least a half bathroom, but there was no space for it, so I just left it, and I think 1 bathroom should be enough for 3 people. But if you guys really need an additional bathroom, you can always get rid of the office area, which is in this room here where I'm currently placing the windows. You can also use this room as an additional bedroom. It's quite small, but I think it's enough for 4 small kids or teen bedroom. So if you have a family of 4, like the parents and 2 kids, this should work just fine. If you don't need the office area, I just wanted to have it because I feel like this would be the place where I would have my office if this was a real house. I think you could also split the master bedroom if you have like only 1 adult living here, like a single mom or anything like that. You could certainly split it into 2 rooms and have an additional kids room there, or a small bathroom. But for this build I wanted rooms to feel spacious, so I didn't place too many objects. I still wanted them to feel cozy, but spacious and clean, I would say. And the furniture from Snowy Escape is just perfect for that, because they all have the same wood tones and also some white swatches. And this time I used the lighter wood tones because they give the house a modern look. They're very warm and cozy, and that was what I was going for with this build, as I said before, so I really like that. And what's also nice about building with Snowy Escape and base game only, you basically get furniture for every type of room. So we have like kitchen appliances, we have dining table, we have different chairs, there's furniture for the living room area, there's also bathroom furniture, which is pretty nice. And we also get outdoor furniture, for example this picnic table here, which also matches the rest of the furniture very well. It has these furs or fake furs on the benches, which makes this also very nice looking, very cozy. I like to use it for like modern Scandinavian builds as well, so I would say Snowy Escape is one of the best packs you can get. There's a lot included here. Also the world is very nice. So for parts of the house I wanted to use this stilt foundation here, but the pillars looked a bit small, so I decided to use different rocks here, which are from base game actually, and I tried to stack them using the T.O.O.L mod. I'm gonna link that in the description below for those of you who are new to the channel. I also used some debug columns to cover the rest of the smaller stilts here, because I feel like they look a bit unrealistic because they're so slim, and even though they're basically just burying the patio area here, in addition to the stones on the left side, I feel like it looks better with the debug columns, which we'll see later on in the video. I also used more rocks on the left hand side, as you can see. I'm not sure why I've never used these flat rocks before, because I've never seen them there from base game, or I ignored them. I'm not sure about that, but I was really happy when I saw them for this build, because I think they're exactly the right color and also the right shape. I really like that you can stack them, and this actually inspired me for a future build, which I will upload in the upcoming weeks. By the way, since it's almost December, I wanted to ask if you guys want to see more seasonal builds, like stuff for Christmas, or like winter themed builds, because where I live it's cold. Just let me know in the comments below. I'll probably do a mix of seasonal builds and regular builds like this one here, where I just upload some builds that are basically finished now. I also thought about uploading a video of all the builds sitting in my library, of which many will probably never get finished, so this way I could at least show them to you and maybe we can decide on which builds actually deserve to be finished. Let me know in the comments below if you would be interested in that. But now back to the build. As you can see, I started landscaping here. So after placing all the rocks and boulders and stuff here, I decided that it was time to add some more rocks and boulders. I also have these mossy stones here, which are a debug object from the Snowyscape expansion. I'm not sure what these are supposed to be, and I also couldn't find it out, so if somebody knows, I'm pretty sure there's a real world equivalent to them. Maybe they're just signs because they have writing on them, I'm not sure. If you know, let me know in the comments below. So as you can see, I use tool mod a lot for this build, and the reason for that is if you have a hill like this one here, the objects will usually float, and with tool you can lower them down, and it's just extremely helpful for builders, but also for less experienced people who want to improve their houses. I also use it for decorating because you can downscale, upscale objects. If you need, for example, a smaller plant in particular, you can make it smaller so it fits on a shelf, but you can also use it to elevate objects. For example, I used it as I said before, for like decorational objects and flowers to put them on shelves, and sometimes it's necessary to have smaller or a bit bigger objects just because the are just not the right size for your build. So it's very helpful. As I said before in the video, I'm going to put it in the description below if you want to check it out yourself. There's also a very nice tutorial on how to use it. It can be a bit overwhelming at first, but it's actually pretty easy to use, and I think it improved my building a lot, so I would really recommend it. So as you guys can see here, I'm placing more of these mossy rocks, signs, whatever they're called. I think the name is just debug, so I can't really put my finger on what they are supposed to be. So usually I use them to add moss to objects, to rocks especially, but you can also use them as a border. For example, here I used them to frame this section here underneath the patio where I wanted to put an easel, because I had this staircase here leading to nowhere and it was kind of obsolete, so I had to add something here, and I think it looks very nice. Moving on to the interior, as you can see, I added the staircase, which was really hard. I almost wanted to stop building, so I almost scrapped this build just because the staircase was so annoying. I cut out the portion where I tried to place it because it was like half an hour long and I couldn't figure out where to put it. So the problem here was that staircases take up a lot of space. I mean, you need a staircase here, you don't want to place a ladder. It would be just too unrealistic. It doesn't make sense. It's nice to have the ladders for micro builds, but not for more sophisticated houses like this one here, which wouldn't have a ladder. It's just a fact. I think I've never seen a house which had just ladders. So you might have a ladder leading to the attic, leading to a small tower area, but I think it's safe to say that most houses don't have ladders. I think I've talked about this in a different video, so here we have the staircase, and I finally found a good place for it. I had to make the house a little bit bigger because I didn't want the staircase to go all the way through the kitchen slash dining room area here. And as I said before, I wanted the house to feel spacious, very open, very modern. So we have an open concept here, of course, where the kitchen is connected to the living room area, which is on the right hand side. You will see that in a minute. And I'm actually pretty happy how the layout turned out, because I built this house basically exterior first, of course, so I wanted to make sure that the exterior looks nice, and then I would worry about the interior, which is always a problem. And sometimes it's really much easier to build the interior first and then worry about the exterior, because you can basically work with what you have. You don't have to worry about things being functional or having enough rooms because they're already there. I mean, let me know in the comments below how you build. I usually jump around a bit, so there's not really a sharp line between exterior and interior, so it's usually for my videos when I build the complete interior first or the complete exterior first, or for stop motions, of course. But I think most people tend to work on the exterior first a bit, then move on to a room, then continue to work on the exterior and do some landscaping. Then you find an object you want to use and go back inside. I think that's the most common way, but it's a bit chaotic for videos, so I apologize if this makes my videos hard to watch, because there's some people out there who are really disciplined and they build one room after another, but it's just not my style, because I always find some objects I want to use later on which I didn't think about or which I've never seen. For example, the rocks I used outside, which are stacked underneath the patio, so you always find new stuff. So this time I also wanted to use a coffee maker, which I also forget about, which you can see here. I usually don't use them for some reason, just because I forget that they're there. And that's I'm usually building tiny homes or even micro homes. There's usually not that much space in there, so I can't really use the only counter space I have, which is also the reason why I don't use a lot of decorations on counters in smaller houses, just because I want them to be functional. As you can see here, there's enough space. We have this corner counter here, which is functional, so everything here is functional. I playtested this house for hours because some things didn't work for some reason. I had one chair that didn't work, then another chair that didn't work, so I had to do some readjustments here. Also, the easel didn't work down there, which I wasn't surprised, but I also fixed that so you can actually paint there. And I had to move some objects in the master bedroom just because the Sims couldn't enter the room, so they had to go around, use the outside stairs and then the glass door to enter the bedroom, which was also not very convenient. But now everything should be functional. As always, let me know if you encounter any problems, but I take pride in making sure that my builds are functional for you guys, and just in case somebody wants to use them in their gameplay. So it's really important for me that my builds also work, because I think I also talked about this in a different video. There are some amazing creators out there which build really cool stuff using T.O.O.L and other mods, and also some custom content which I didn't do here. And the builds look amazing, don't get me wrong. I really like looking at some eye candy builds, but I can tell that they're not usable. And also some people tell me in the comments that my builds are not usable sometimes if they're very small or somehow particularly detailed or cluttered. But trust me, if a build is labeled functional, it is playtested and functional. So I usually mention when my builds are not functional. There are just a few of them. I think the overgrown library, or whatever it was called, just a shorts video, was not functional just because it wasn't the goal. So long story short, this build here is fully functional, as most of my builds. And as I said before, if you want to download it, ID is in the description below. If you download anything from the gallery or just enjoy my videos, please don't forget to leave a like. It's the easiest way to support the channel. But now back to the build. As you guys can see, I used very light wood tones here, and also some larger plants which are from base game. And as you can see, most of the furniture I used is from Snowy Escape, and I really like using the Snowy Escape furniture because the aesthetic is clean and modern, but also a bit traditional. And what's most important here is all the objects have the same swatches, so I can use this very nice light wood tone here for every object in the house basically if I want to, which I basically did. But I also used some objects from base game, of course, which are not included in Snowy Escape. For example, the skill building items. We have the easel, we have a guitar, baseball bat, and of course all the electronics. So just to give you guys an overview here, on the first floor we have the kitchen slash dining area here. The only bathroom in this house is also on the first floor, which is kind of unfortunate because I really wanted to have at least another half bathroom here on the second floor, but there was just no space for it. I mean, you can always get rid of the study area if you really need an additional room for anything, but currently there is just one bathroom in this house, which I think should be enough for 3 people. On the first floor is also the living room area and an additional bedroom. There's only 2 rooms upstairs, which is the master bedroom and the study I was talking about earlier. You could also use it as an additional bedroom. It's not very big. I think it's a 4x2 room, so not that big, but enough space for an additional single bedroom. My houses are usually not that big. Even if I build a family home like this one, it's usually for like 3 or 4 people max. So if you want me to build bigger houses, let me know in the comments below. I also have some rather big houses sitting in my library for some time, which I would like to finish. And they're actually like 99% finished. I think one of them, and the other one is like 90% finished. But I just can't get myself to do all the play testing. It's so much work, but I'm pretty sure they will be released eventually because I put so much work into them, and it would be a shame if they would just sit in my library forever. But at the moment I don't have that much time, and I wanted to build something I could actually finish. I wanted to upload this on Saturday, but I also couldn't finish it in time until then. And the reason for that is that the playtesting took a lot of time, as I said before. I just couldn't figure out what was causing the problems. It was probably some plant or bush, because the bushes and plants from Snow Escape are notorious for causing problems. I had this problem with the modern Hobbit hole as well, where I had bushes on the roof, of course, because it's an underground house, and one of the bushes caused basically the bathroom to be non-functional, and I couldn't upload the house, of course, this way, because everything has to work. As I said before, if I upload my houses, they are usually playtested and fully functional. So this is the master bedroom. As I said before, it's a rather big room compared to the rest of the house, and if you really wanted to have an additional half bathroom or another small room, you could certainly separate this room using the wall tools to create some smaller rooms here. If you place the bed against the wall, there shouldn't be a problem. It should still be usable because your Sims can scoot over, of course. This room has also access to one of the roof patios, as you can see here, which is also the area where we have our outside fireplace, which is currently not there because I added it at the end of the video. And as I said before, considering my usual builds, this is very minimalistic. I wouldn't say plain, but I would say clean looking, because I didn't use too much clutter. I would say there's some cluttered shelves in the study here and in the bedroom downstairs, but I think it's not too much. It's just to give it a bit more of a realistic feeling, like somebody's actually living here. But of course, if there are not enough objects here, you have, I would say, enough space. Or maybe not if it's like a bowling alley. That might be too much. I mean, you can place it on the roof somewhere or on one of the patios. That might work, but I'm not sure about that. So here you guys can see the study I was talking about earlier. I'm also placing some skill building or just some decorational objects here. As you can see, we have a telescope. We also have the easel down here, which I was also talking about earlier. And I used some more bushes from Snowy Escape to cover up this area here to make it look a bit more realistic and natural. I also used some of these red leaf trees here just as a little bit of contrast. I really like how they look. I think they're also from Snowy Escape, but I didn't want to use too many of them. So just a little bit of color, not too much, because the house is very gray. And as I said before, I wanted the interior to be warm and cozy, and that's also the reason why I used these light wood elements here. So as you can see, we have a dressing room area kind of here, the little sitting area where your Sims can read. As I said before, it's really easy to separate the master bedroom into two rooms. You would basically just have to place a wall in between here, and you would have an additional like bathroom or a bedroom or whatever room you need. So as I said before, I have some rather large builds sitting in my gallery, and I want to release them at some point. And I wanted to ask you guys if you would prefer to see a stop motion for these builds, because I haven't recorded the whole building process for a speed build. Also, a speed build would be like 3 hours if I cut out some of the parts, so it would be way too long. And even a stop motion would be like 30-40 minutes probably. And I thought about just doing a tour video. I'm not sure if you guys want to see just a tour or if there has to be a stop motion or speed build, but I'm not sure how I would do the tour. Probably I would just walk through the house using the free cam and then talk about the individual rooms and the build itself, what the inspiration was, what the general idea was, what I tried to achieve. Just talk about the problems I encountered with the builds and my ideas and thoughts during the building process, basically. So I'm not sure if you guys are interested in that or if you just want to see speed builds and stop motion, because after all, this is a building channel, and I think doing a tour would be just in line with the concept of the channel. So I wanted to know if you guys would be interested in that, because I always try to create content that you guys actually want to watch. Anyway, long story short, let me know in the comments below if you would be interested in that, or if you want a different concept. So for example, if you say, oh no, I'm fine, do a speed build, for example, then I could do a 2 hour speed build, which I probably won't do because it's an insane amount of work, and I think people don't want to watch 2 hour speed builds. I think the threshold here is like 30 minutes. People watch 30-minute videos, but they don't want to watch longer videos, at least in this genre, I would say. Because it kind of gets boring, especially if there's no commentary. I'm not sure about the commentary anymore, because I thought this channel would improve with me doing some commentary, telling you a bit about my thought processes here. But some people also told me they don't like the commentary, so it's a little bit like a double-edged sword, because some people mute the commentary, some say it's too slow, some say it's just right. Some people don't even watch the video, they just listen while playing The Sims themselves. And I'm aware I can't make it right for everybody, but I just try to do my best here. Anyway, back to longer build videos. I'm probably gonna do stop motions just because I think they're the most convenient. They're also a lot of work, but I think it makes sense to like do a stop motion when a speed build would be like 2 hours long. And I'm also aware that not everybody likes stop motions. I'm also aware that not everybody likes speed builds, but I think these are the two main types of build videos. When I built the Sylvan Glade cottage, I tried to kind of edit the highlights, which was also quite interesting, and I'm not sure if people liked it, but it was a different type of video. But I also learned from it, so it was an interesting experience. But I think most people prefer speed builds. I think that's quite safe to say. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what your favorite type of video is. If this video was too like slow or too fast, I think it could be a bit faster, but it's just inconvenient to watch if it's too fast. But some people want really fast speed builds, and I think that's not really a problem, because we're here on YouTube and you can always adjust the speed. Anyway, back to the build. As you can see, we have a very nice room divider here for the master bedroom, and I really want to use this object here, but it caused a lot of problems because you couldn't enter the room, and I eventually fixed it by rotating it a bit so the Sims wouldn't have to enter the room from outside. So this is the second bedroom for like a kid or a teenager, and this room is a bit more cluttered, as you can see here, with this very nice shelf, which is also from Snowy Escape. I think I used multiple of these. There are not as many slots on this shelf as I would like, but it's not really a problem, because if you have like the tool mod or the red shelf mod, which I'm also going to link in the description below if you want to check it out. I didn't use it for this build. You can pretty easily clutter shelves like this one here. So my favorite part about this build is probably this outside fireplace here, which I think is also from Snowy Escape. I used almost all furniture from the pack, and it's just because the furniture looks modern and clean, but also traditional in some way. It's just perfect. I think, as I said before, one of the best packs for builders, but also for gameplay. Anyway, we're now at the end of the video. I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like, consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. Also leave a comment if you want to. I always appreciate feedback, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As I said before, the build is fully functional and play tested. You can download this from the gallery. My ID is in the description below. If you're interested in more builds that fit Mount Komorebi, there's a playlist on my channel. I'm also going to link it at the end of the video. Again, thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace out.